After delivering several critically acclaimed performances in comedies and dramas, Sharon Tate was touted as one of Hollywood's most promising up-and-coming stars. Sadly, her life came to an abrupt end in 1969 when she was 26. In the blink of an eye, one of the most talked-about Hollywood newcomers left this world in tragedy. Flash forward to more than half a century later to today, and Tate is still making headlines. Recently, never-before-seen photos of the late blonde bombshell have been discovered in a garage in California. A handful of photos of Tate lounging under the sun and a towel while wearing a green string bikini were taken by one of her roommate's husbands on his front lawn in Manhattan Beach, California, in the spring of 1964. These candid snapshots show the then 21-year-old actress looking happy and very model-like. According to the Southwest News Service, the pictures were discovered a few years ago in 2017 by a woman named Ashley Miller Cabrejas, the stepdaughter of Donald Hagen. Tate's roommate had been married to Hagen at the time the photos were taken. Ashley Cabrejas had been poking around the garage in search of photography equipment to prepare for the 2017 total solar eclipse when she stumbled upon the photos. The 46-year-old told the press the pictures had been sitting in her garage for years before she found them. Keep watching to see more drop-dead gorgeous photos of Sharon Tate while learning a bit more about her tragically short life and career. Sharon Tate's early years. Born January 24, 1943 in Dallas, Texas, Tate was the oldest daughter of three to Colonel Paul James Tate, a U.S. Army officer, and Doris Gwendolyn. When she was 6 months old, Tate won the Miss Tiny Tot of Dallas beauty pageant, but at the time, her parents didn't have any plans to introduce their daughter to show business. Sharon's father was promoted and transferred several times before she turned 16. By then, she had lived in 6 different cities and was finding it difficult to form and maintain friendships. Those closest to her described her as shy and lacking confidence. Later in her life, people often misinterpreted her shyness as aloofness. After moving to Tacoma, Washington, and now that she was nearing adulthood, people began commenting on how beautiful Sharon was. Taking their advice, she started to enter beauty pageants. In 1959, she won the title Miss Richland in Richland, Washington. For a while as a teen, it was her intention to study psychiatry in college. She also stated she wanted to compete in the Miss Washington pageant in 1960, but before she had a chance to do either of these things, Sharon's father was ordered to be stationed in Italy. After moving there, Sharon discovered she had become somewhat of a local celebrity thanks to a photograph of her in a swimsuit that had been featured on the cover of a military newspaper called Stars and Stripes. While in Italy, Sharon bonded with other students who understood and related to her situation. Being the daughter of someone in the military who was constantly being shipped around the world left her with feelings of loneliness and isolation. For the first time in her life, she started to form real, lasting friendships. After attending several different high schools across the globe, while her father was stationed at various army bases, Tate finally graduated from Vicenza American High School in Vicenza, Italy in 1961. Hey, if you're enjoying this video so far, be sure to give it a like and subscribe to Factsverse if you haven't already, and stick around for more about Sharon Tate. Sharon's first film roles. Tate and some of her newfound friends became interested in the production of Hemingway's Adventures of a Young Man, a film that was being shot nearby starring Susan Strasberg, Richard Beymer, and Paul Newman. After auditioning, they all landed parts as extras. Beymer spotted Tate in the crowd and introduced himself. The two ended up dating during the production of the movie, and Beymer encouraged her to pursue a career in film. In 1960, Tate worked for singer Pat Boone and ended up appearing alongside him in an episode of the TV show The Pat Boone Chevy Showroom, shot in Venice, Italy. Later that year, the film Barabbas was shot near Verona. Once again, Tate was hired on as an extra. Actor Jack Palance took a liking to her, having been impressed by her looks and positive attitude. He arranged for her to screen test in Rome, but nothing amounted of it. Sharon then relocated to the U.S. on her own, stating she wanted to further pursue her studies, but upon arriving stateside, she started looking for work in the film industry instead. Several months went by without hearing from her, so Doris Tate, Sharon's mother, after suffering from a nervous breakdown, convinced her to return to Italy. Sharon Tate's big breakthrough. Tate returned to the U.S. with her family in 1962. She then moved to LA, where she contacted a talent agent named Harold Gefsky, who had previously worked with her old fling, actor Richard Beymer. Tate landed her first big break when she was cast as the voluptuous bank secretary Janet Trago in the TV series The Beverly Hillbillies in 1962. She met her future husband, director Roman Polanski, while on the set of the 1967 English film The Fearless Vampire Killers. She landed her first big film role later that year when she appeared in Valley of the Dolls. Once married to Polanski, Tate's life became all about attending lavish Hollywood parties, jet-setting around the world, and meeting influential movie stars, directors, and producers. In 1968, she played a red-headed beauty in the spy spoof film The Wrecking Crew. During the making of the movie, she got to work with Dean Martin and the lovely Elka Summer. Tate was 2 months pregnant with her first child while filming the 1960 comedy 12+1 in France and Italy. That was sadly the last film she ever appeared in, because at age 26, on August 9, 1969, Tate became one of the 4 victims of the infamous Manson family cult. The recently revealed photos are quite telling. In the aforementioned photos that have recently resurfaced, we're given a very intimate look at Sharon Tate's early years in the U.S. The photos also show that Donald Hagen was quite the playboy. When Ashley Cabrejas went through the photos, she discovered her stepfather was, as she put it, quite the ladies' man. Hagen, who spent most of his life working as a substitute teacher, died in 2017 after losing his battle with dementia. At the time of his death, he'd been married to Cabrejas' mother for 25 years. The couple had no biological children together, so Hagen ended up leaving his entire estate to his stepdaughter. Ashley says that now she knows what kind of a man Hagen was back in the 60s. His vanity license plate, which read Don Juan, a play on Don Juan, makes a lot more sense. Cabrejas revealed that during the holidays, Hagen would often tell her stories about his friendship with Tate, although since she was a teenager at the time and going through a typically angsty period, she didn't pay much attention. Now it's time to hear from you. What's your favorite memory of Sharon Tate's brief Hollywood career? Let us know in the comments section below. And before you go, make sure you give this video a like and subscribe to Facts First if you haven't already. Click the bell icon to stay updated on all our latest content.